vintage Westinghouse refrigerator radios, or the proper name is Little Jewel. These are fairly popular, 1946. They are a 6-tube radio, and like I said, commonly called refrigerator radios or Little Jewel. The model number is, according to this, is Westinghouse model H125, H126, H1251. Owner of this wants 2 working ones. So what we have is we have a parts chassis here. He's going to take care of the cabinets and do something with these radios. So we're just going to get them working. Get 2 of them working, and the route I'm going to take is diagnose and repair in this video, and then maybe in a subsequent video we'll do recap and align. It all depends on how they go. What the world does not need is another recapping video of an old radio. So we are going to get them working by changing as few parts as possible. And the reason why I take that route is that way I know if I create problems. So they have a little handle. About the size of like a loaf of bread. Almost looks like a toaster, maybe. Toaster radio. Toaster radio, refrigerator radio, Little Jewel. Let's see, what other kind of names could we give it? Made in America. Imagine that. This is probably external antenna. Remove this side to change tubes. Let's see what we got here. Sorry for the shaky, but I like my close-ups. Probably what we'll do is I'm sure he powered them up. What we'll do is we'll just power them up through a light bulb and see what happens. Use like a 25-watt bulb, and we'll just try and get 2 of them working. Here's a look at the chassis. 6 tubes, 2, 4, 6, got an RF amp. Should be a decent performing radio. Westinghouse made good stuff. I will say this, I spot checked a bunch of the resistors in this radio, and I was a little bit disappointed. Quite a few of them were probably considered should be replaced, but would not prevent the radio from working. So, 300% out of tolerance, but not open. So it has a nice big audio output transformer. These are desirable radios. You look on eBay, every single one of them listed sells. Some of them a lot, some of them not so much. So let's get them working. Here's something to keep in mind. Remember I said these are very popular radios, and they pretty much all of them that are listed sell on eBay. This gentleman that gave me these to repair purchased these. He picked these up off of eBay. Now a lot of times when you get a radio or anything like this that is a hot selling item, you'll have guys that kind of start fixing them and specializing in them, and they'll grab them all up and sell and fix them. They'll buy them for $50, and then they'll refurbish them and sell them for $500. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take all of their garbage parts that they can't use, all of the bad parts, and they'll repackage them and sell those off as a whole radio that's listed as untested, not working, for parts only. So we don't know if you know, these are original, found at an estate sale or some eBay restorer's package of garbage parts that they can't use. So that's why we're going to take a cautious approach at kind of, you know, analyzing this before we dive into just fully recapping it. You know, spend all this time recapping it and then find out, well, you know, the IF transformers are blown up and the audio output transformer's fried and the speaker's bad because it's all Franken parts out of sets that were hit by lightning. So we don't know what these are. These could be some shyster's game right here. That actually happens with radios like Transoceanics and other popular radios where you have guys that specialize in them and then they sell off all their, you know, bad parts in what looks like a possibly restorable radio. So here goes. We got a 25 watt bulb here. That should keep us from blowing too much up. Let's see. Okay, so what's open? Okay, so let's make a video about testing light bulbs here. What the hell? It's arcing right. It's arcing right there where the wire connects to the base of the light bulb. Right there. See that? What kind of cheap kind of failure is that? That's not legit, is it? I mean, I would have thought by this era they would have been able to weld copper to aluminum. Okay, I got it. Yeah. I just took a screwdriver and kind of mashed the aluminum into the copper. So here we go. We'll turn this off. My cheesy... You'd think by this point in my career I would have taken the time to actually build a dim bulb tester, but you know. Well, that's a good sign. I don't care about the capacitors in this. I don't care about murdering capacitors in this. What I care about is blowing the audio output transformer up or the rectifier tube. So see how it's getting dimmer? So we'll just let that roll for a minute. Okay, so our dim bulb has gotten pretty dim. And our radio is completely quiet. I'll leave it on for another minute. Okay, so I'm going to go up to a 40 watt bulb here. I feel like the current draws good. I don't hear any hum. I'm at 40 watts.
And I give you, once again, not just this need, but all of your children who are crying out to you. Heavenly Father, hear our prayers.
Yes, give us all of your children.
Exageradamente, o sea, y no, yo sé que no era ella, yo sé. Entonces yo...
During this campaign is that he would propose an immigration package to Congress. And he said there'd be three elements in the package. One would be to spend billions more dollars on border security. Employers who hire...
It's working, but it's very, very quiet. Now what I want to listen for, and I'm going to push the camera right up against the speakers, I want to kind of get an idea of the overall sensitivity.
y escogió lo mejor de su parte y se paró del cielo y de la tierra.
Iglesia, ¿dónde reunirse?
Otra vez colocante para 3/4 de terreno por el centro. El cambio de juego para el costado izquierdo. Lo tiene juntos Alonso.
그래서 착색이는 맨 마지막에
to do it because they're big.
10 million Americans lost their jobs during the pandemic under
Que sabes que el ejército
They tend to fall because of the lack of sensation.
Gets a little stiff there. Kind of a little slippy. It seems to have decent sensitivity. It's just no volume. So that means the front end is working. I mean, if we got decent sensitivity, that means this is working. We don't know. Probably the first thing I would try and do is tweak these, see if it wakes up at all. Okay, so this is indeed a H126 model. Look at this. Look at this. This should make your capacitor pulsate. What's interesting is it looks like it's got a replacement leadic in it. I will say that looking at the dust on this, that this is definitely not a Franken radio of regurgitated junk parts. So this leadic, this is definitely a replacement, but who cares? Let's give this thing some juice and tweakificate. We got one IF can here, and we got one on top.
Disneyland in California for April 30th, right? We've been talking about this all day. They're saying they're going to open up, but changes, as you can expect, because, you know, Dr. Peter Chin Hong, infectious disease specialist, UC San Francisco. So, doctor, how do we feel about amusement parks?
I think we're feeling pretty decent when the take place. Went from about 118 in the middle of January to now.
What do we got going on here?
It's limited for Californians. There's going to be the usual mask and social distancing that people know about, a new reservation system. But to me, most importantly, they're going to be testing strategies for the workers.
What do we got going on here?
So, you know, I was wondering when you'd get to that. So that was one of my favorite things that I read about, which is the screaming mitigation procedures.
Screaming mitigation procedures.
It would be hard to really tell somebody they can't scream on space mounting, or to scream more softly, or to scream behind your mask. At least people are facing in the same direction, so don't swivel your head around and scream, I guess, is the recipe.
Don't scream into someone. Yeah.
What do we have?
Friends in Japan said of a whole like people because go around. Not happening. Sorry, I'm here to have some fun.
Yeah.
So wait, so would you?
Stand by. Let me check my screaming mitigation procedures.
If you want to get for Disneyland and try to erase that year of darkness, you know.
Well, I guess you know if they're doing the capacity limits, there's going to be so few people.
You know what? I'm gonna probe this damn thing with something conductive. I don't care.
And any unexploded fireworks and rendered the area safe for the return of evacuated neighborhood residents. And when LA's new DA office months ago, Justice Born that called among others some about violence. But 100 days into his term, George Gascon insists he's moving in the right direction.
The new DA has really shaken things up by getting rid of gang enhancements and getting rid of the death penalty here in LA.
My office took the death penalty.
Is this just one?
He says it's not a deterrent. Besides, there's a moratorium.
This is just like one big cold solder joint right here. Is that what's going on?
Minors for
Box.
I believe I've got it narrowed down to this wire.
Not all prescriptions eligible for delivery. Restrictions apply. Visit cdc.com/delivery for details.
65 can make life easier, especially with thousands of dollars in annual healthcare savings.
Oh yeah, that was a good solder joint. Hell yes. What is that to the audio output transformer? Let's fix that. So brown, green, red, 1500. That's a little bit over. Yellow, purple, yellow, 47 and 40 zeros, 470K. It's a little over. This 470, a little over, less than the other, but still a little. Orange, orange, yellow, so 334, so 330K. That's pretty close. Gray, red, orange, so 823, 82K. It's close. You know, just if you're going to work on this stuff, just take the time to learn the damn color codes. It's not that hard. Brown, gray, brown. So 1-8 with 180 ohms. Close. Yellow, purple, green. So 475, 5 zeros. So 4.7 megs. Wow, that one's dead on. Red, red, green. So 225 or 2.2 meg. That one looks like it's been replaced. See how it's spliced in there? So yeah, the resistors are acceptable. A lot of them have been replaced. This has had work done to it. This is the wire to the plate. This wire goes to the audio output transformer. And I just tacked it on there. We'll see if it corrects the intermittent. Today, anybody? Success? Failure?
Setback, that's from April, we'll have more visibility and H1 platform as vaccination in
No?
exhibition centers, drive-through sites, whereas now it's pretty much confined to hospitals and nursing homes.
Yeah, you get the stuff we're used to here, like Dodger Stadium from Milan. Bloomberg reporter Marco Bertocchi. Marco, thanks. More in depth on the way. Another half hour coming up. 155. Brought to you by Caliber Garage Doors Traffic. Here's Brian Douglas. Still have an issue.
I make worse.
Chester, this is an injury crash blocking second lane from the left side of the main line affected up ahead. Two right lanes blocked 110 north at the 10. It's another injury crash. So your northbound side, you can imagine it's going to be tough. Figueroa, by the way, is an old set. Looks great. Another tough drive. That drive to the New Hall Pass. That's coming from California 225 Jam Cam. Yeah, this is all roadwork situation here. Caltrans 5 north
My
southbound to the New Hall Pass.
rated insulated gloves. You like these? Okay, what did I do here?
Powerwall and protect your family from SoCal blackouts. Available now. No money down, no interest in, no payments.
Okay, where is this damn capacitor right here? This one, 9. I'm going to cut that out of circuit.
Greg Robinson is with the state's emergency management office.
This is frustrating.
But as the damage right now, we've just some structural damage in trees down.
A man who motivated thousands died.
Dick Hoyt was an
Wow.
Rick, a quadriplegic and a wheel.
How much time is it going to take? You know, it sounds thin.
Is with the Muslim Public Affairs Council.
And those who continue to promote, perpetuate hate and scapegoating are cowards. They will not come here in the light of day to say anything. And so the more we bring out light,
It's like-
the more we will stamp out this hatred.
They engaged in a moment of silence.
It's like there's a short in the audio output overloading.
Asian women. Connie Chung Jo is with Asian Americans Advancing Justice, Los Angeles.
We know that within the Asian community, certain groups are being targeted more for attack, such as women, seniors, and immigrants.
Change that.
Because they are...
So, of course, this one is a loctal, and this one is an octal.
Going out for walks, grandparents being hit or killed just for being outside. What's going on out there?
Well, I think you're definitely seeing a surge because of the coronavirus, but as Tam mentioned, this has been going on as long as Asian Americans have been in this country. It happened during the gold rush, it happened during World War II with Japanese Americans, it happened in Detroit with...
Okay, so this goes to this lead here.
But there has been a surge over this last
cut it out.
3,800 cases, according to the Stop AAPI website, Stop AAPI hate website. And again, I think that's probably 1/10 to 1/100th of what's really been out there.
So we mentioned that there's money been allocated to fight hate crimes. How is that money helped?
So this wire where I'm connected goes to the bottom of the volume control, and then the center of the volume control goes to this capacitor, and then to here.
Unless you have data, you have no idea how big or how small a problem is. Is it just me, or is it just, my friend, or is this a really systemic issue? And I think
this damn radio is becoming a systemic issue.
Data, a little more research, so we can really try to...
Okay, it appears the source of the intermittent, and this radio is going to make a fool out of me because of what I said at the beginning, is that capacitor right there. What I did is I just jumped it with this one, and it's rock solid now.
The San Fernando Valley, Laurel Canyon still shut down. We had trees fall down onto the roadway over both lanes, both sides here. A couple hours ago. Use cold water, that's looking okay, and your 101 still looking okay. Except for southbound out of Hollywood, it's extra tough as you make your way into downtown. Next report's at 2:20. Listen to CarsonToyota.com.
Hell, we've got another freaking intermittent here. Okay, the wire is garbage, but it's the other wire that was soldered. It's the wire from the rectifier that's soldered to that. Look at this capacitor.
Which is set to fly out of Burbank. Can they last? With us, Joe Brancatelli, business travel and airline industry analyst. He's the founder and editor of the business traveler advisory site, joesentme.com. So, Joe, they must have a theory as to how this is going to work. What is it?
I never guess on what airlines think their theories are because they never turn out to be true in real life. But both of those two and an international sort of revived Norwegian Airlines are all hoping to fill a center. Brazil, now one of Brazil's largest airlines, turned around town.
Wow, Radio Disney is still on the air. So let's kind of keep talking here so we don't clinko-twerkulate the... Why didn't they drill the damn holes right? The hell, did we just tighten these down all the way? What's going on here? This is a no-no, but... The damn thing was tightened down all the way. What's going on here? Same thing with that one, it's tightened down all the way. Let me get off of this music thing. I don't want to try and...
Crash on the 10 freeway.
I think that's a Rush Limbaugh station, so...
134 freeway westbound. This report is sponsored by LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Tax season can be a big headache if identity thieves steal personal info from your tax forms. LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses.
But you can save up to 25% off your first year at lifelock.com, promo code RISK. I'm Richard Turner, JM1150, The Patriot.
At this very moment, the biggest stars in music are clearing their calendars. Travel arrangements are being made. Because on Thursday,
Okay, that...
they'll be on stage in person at our 2021 iHeartRadio
Really?
Awards.
This is frustrating. You know, okay, this one's working. Why do we get peaks on this one but no peaks on this one?
.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We continue. Senator Haggerty, he is with Tennessee to talk about all things D.C. You know, we often talk about this mass migration or people leaving high-tax, highly regulated, democratic blue, deep blue states like New York and New Jersey. And I think
all right. So a bad capacitor, a bad wax paper capacitor could cause this not to do anything. This is the transformer, and those are the two adjustments I'm turning. And say if that 0.04 was open, that could definitely cause, things not to work here. So this is kind of weird that I'm seeing open paper capacitors on this. So, I mean, the sensitivity is there. It's just... So I think where I'm at with this is it's time to recap it. Obviously, there's nothing major wrong except maybe this. This could be bad. Maybe we should ohm this out. Maybe I'll do that next.
Such as utensils.
Councilman Mitch O'Farrell says he wants a vote on the new ordinance before Earth Day, which is coming up on April 22nd. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070.
No more plastic utensils. No more plastic straws. No more plastic utensils. Just
Coming up at 2:49.
Lick the food up off the tray, off the styrofoam tray.
At 2:45. It's 2:41.
Okay. All right. We still have a serious lack of gain here. The first IF transformer's not peaking.
With an incredibly low 2.09% fixed rate in APR with no points and no lender fees. That is amazing.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig into the next one and let's see what the next one does and let's compare it. I mean, the neat thing about this is we have parts and we have things to compare to other things. So I'm going to get the other radio. Okay, here we go with the lawnmower in the background. Well, that's good. I went back to the 25-watt light bulb. Let's see what this one does. This one looks like the speaker might be Klinko-twerculated. I give it a minute. Look at this, is all wire insulation from inside these radios. All the rubber wire insulation is going bye-bye in these things. It's just old and hard and... Okay. to take a lunch break and wait for the lawnmower that's 500 feet away from here to go away, or what do I do? This one is totally quiet. I'm gonna go to the 40-watt bulb. 40-watt bulb, absolutely silent, not even any cracklage like the other one. I mean, dead. Oh my, check this awesomeness out right here. That is a thing of beauty. Crustification. Oh my, just look at the crust. Rusty tubes. This is damn near resurrection material right here. This is like a barn find. So what was this, a bathroom radio? Every single capacitor is cracked. Except the wax paper, but these are all broken. Well, let's do some checks on it. I'd like to hear it play before I recap it, although that might not be possible. These radios are kind of making fun of me with that statement. They're out for vengeance with that line of thinking. I mean, these capacitors are just slurkle brofulated. B plus, we have 69 volts. Secondary supply, we have 48 volts. So on our screen we have 49 volts. Then on our plate, this is the audio output. We have 4 volts on the cathode. Where's the plate? Okay, we have 65 volts on the plate. So why do we not got no audio? Do we got a bad speaker? It be quiet. Yeah, we got a nice leaky coupling cap there. 5.43 volts of leakage on the control grid through that nice leaky capacitor. Sounds like the speaker is good. Speaker has a hell of a lot of, well, has a nice peak around 150 hertz. So I'm driving directly into the speaker right now. Okay, now I'm driving into the audio output transformer. Definitely not as loud, but of course it's an impedance change, so it's not going to be. So that's weird. Why is this thing quiet? We got our voltages here, unless that tube is dead open. But I don't think it is, because we got a cathode voltage. Okay, I have the generator isolated with 2 capacitors, because this is a hot chassis set. So this would be the grid. It's definitely hot there. Let's see, so from the grid to, we go through this capacitor, hold on. Okay, so we come to this. That's the output, that's the plate from the detector preamp tube to the output tube. But then why do we have nothing? We have it appears we have nothing to... It's like this whole stage is dead right here. Okay, we have 38 volts on the plate of this tube. Is that tube dead? So if we put a signal in here, we get audio. If we put a signal in back through this capacitor, if we put a signal there, we get audio. We get no audio on any of these other pins. So that's the plate. And like I said, we have 40 volts there. It's like that. The voltage is low because I'm still have a light bulb here as protection. But that is dead. I'm going to change that tube. Okay, I pulled that detector tube out, and it's a 12 SK7. And the RF amp is a 12 SK7. So what's the difference between a 12 SK7 and a 12 SJ7? Is it the same tube? You know what? What does this one have in it? Let me get this out. 12 SJ7. Well, seems like a detector tube would be a little bit different than an audio frequency amp, but okay. I mean, I'm sorry, it seems that the RF amp would be different. Let's try it with the proper tube in there. And look at all these, that's been in there a long time, because look at the difference. I mean, it's Rustomatic. Okay, well that sounds a little bit better with the right tube in it.
Folks, tax day is going to be a great day. That's because
oh, hell yes!
Savings account lets you take a last-minute tax deduction.
So this thing had the wrong tube in it forever. Look at the sensitivity of this one compared to the first one.
Society is beginning to find out in truly amazing measure. Already coming.
Let's see on this one if we get the peaks.
The idea that traditional values have to go away with regard to sexual activity. They're saying that basic ideas like boys and girls are boys and girls, those need to go away as well. They're actively propagandizing on behalf of gender fluidity. This is the Ben Shapiro.
Hell yes, I'm gender fluid. Let's see.
AM 790.
KABC News at 3:30. I'm Kevin Trapp. The Federal Reserve unchanged. Right, so you like the positive attitude that I brought today and does not expect rate hikes to
That's nice.
Powerful blowing out the windows of neighboring homes. Committee Chairman.
Wait, was Radio Disney gone?
Crisis. Fox's Jared. So the scene is safe. There was a large explosion. The interest rate at near 0% in place through 2023.
Yeah, Radio Disney is gone. Really?
Now, traffic on the Patriot.
Because
AM 1150.
the Patriot's 1150, KNX is 1070.
bodies from what's left of that exploded home. Live in Ontario, Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Yeah, Radio Disney is gone. I could swear it was on the air when we started this video with the other radio.
Those that are illegally distributing 317
Weird.
No espere que sea demasiado tarde. Vuestro y todos los mil y tantas familias que se han...
Thing needs to be lubed. So let's see if we could get a peek on these.
Que le decía el Señor en la entrada triunfante en Jerusalén: Hosana al Hijo de David, bendito el que viene en el nombre del Señor. Esos que lo corearon y que lo querían hacer rey, esos somos nosotros. Con la diferencia de que para hacerlo rey, no estamos quitándonos los mantos o las ramas del camino, sino que estamos poniendo el... Pues tienen peinado muy...
앉아 계신 사진을 갖고 계신 분입니다. 배, 부자, 옥자, 배동님 축하드립니다.
배동님 축하드립니다. 부부가 너무 중요한 것 같아요. 그것은 멀리서 찾을 게 아니라 제 아내만 봐도 압니다.
It's got the original cap in it. I'll probably change that or disconnect it, put new caps underneath.
마음이 하나 되지 못하면 부부가 건강하면 쉽지 않을 것 같아요.
Okay, now we got the wind.
Her parents had taken her to appointments with doctors and therapists for months. They helped her shop for a new wardrobe of sweaters and dresses and jeans from the women's sections. At 14, she began taking estrogen, medication that helped her perceive her as who she was, female. Wouldn't that be the terror in here? Again, this person is not. He was. This person is a biological male. Okay, that sentence is so replete with value judgments, obviously, and it's being treated as objective journalism. If you have to take medication to help your friends perceive you as who you are, let me just suggest to you that your biology is an objective measure of one thing about you that makes you who you are. Your own thoughts about yourself are less perceptible. Okay, they're less perceivable from the outside.
Gold paint.
The entire article is designed around the...
Let's spot check some resistors on this. 1.5K, 1.5K, 470K, measuring 578, 4.7 meg, 5.23 meg, 2.2 meg, 2.6 meg, 100K, 113K. Okay, so it's all the same thing. They're all 10-15% over what they should be. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so here's what we got. This is the rusty, corroded one that had the wrong tube in the detector slot. That works pretty good. Speaker sounds clean. A little distorted. That could be a bad tube due to bad capacitors or low voltage from the light bulb. This one right here is the first one we did with all the intermittents. Yeah, that one there seems like more of a pain in the ass. We did not touch the parts chassis. I don't... You know, both of these have their issues. This one's rusty and corroded, and the parts chassis looks better. This one's full of crappy solders and intermittent and rotten, flaky rubber wire, and this one looks better. So, I don't know. Where do you go with all that? So, do I do 2 more videos, 1 video on each one, or 1 video on both of them? Or do we just leave it here as a diagnostic video because everybody's seen more recapping videos than they could ever handle? Or do we moisten up JJ Cruise and get the lube out and do a Jason JJ Cruiser recapathon? I don't know. I got to think about it. But both of them need a lot of work. And, you know, if you were charging, you know, shop labor rate to redo these damn things, the guy would be in over $1,000 for each one. So, I don't know. We're going to fix them. I'm not saying that. This is a hobby type thing. Just kind of thinking out loud here. So that's what we got. Crusty, rusty, intermittent filled, and parts. So that's a look at 3, or really 2, Westinghouse refrigerator radio little jewels that are not really little jewels anymore. The rusty crusty one seems to just be a recap, align and go, spray some oil and cleaner in the controls. The one with the intermittents seems to have poor sensitivity and overall performance, and that capacitors might fix that, but it's kind of doubtful. And it's interesting that the one that works pretty good is the one with those horrible cracked capacitors in it.